I don't know about you guys, but I'm super hyped for the Pokemon Sword and Shield expansion pass. Between the promise of large new areas to explore, new Pokemon, new Gigantamax forms and Galarian forms of familiar Pokemon, new characters, new hairstyles, and new fashion items, the Isle of Armor and Crown Tundra DLCs are looking to be excellent additions to what's already one of my favorite sets of Pokemon games. But I think the thing that got most people talking was the other big part of the expansion pass reveal, that being about 200 Pokemon from previous games coming back as part of a free update that launches around the same time as the first DLC, including legendaries from past generations. Which means for competitive players, the boys are back in town! Obviously, though, there's a lot of speculation about who's coming back because we only saw a small chunk of the Pokemon confirmed to return in the coming months, and I too have my own hopes about what Pokemon are going to be making their way to the Galar region, so hey, why not turn this into a countdown video? I mean, it's definitely topical, and that's just the sort of thing I need to revive my dead channel because, let's be real here, your boy needs ad revenue. Anyway, these are my top 5 Pokemon that I want to return in the Pokemon Sword and Shield expansion pass. Now, I don't claim to be the best competitive Pokemon player ever on the planet at all, but I think I was doing pretty alright for myself in Gen 7 with a team I put together. A team with a name about as edgy and badass as you would expect from someone with a Whimsicott as his mascot. Wait, no, Steve, cut that out, that came out wrong. A team simply known as the Double Dragon Death Dealers! Basically, it was a team centered around 3 key components: Alola Ninetales, Salamence, and Mega Charizard X. In the ideal situation, I'd put in Ninetales to set up Aurora Veil, bring out either Salamence or Megazard, set up a Dragon Dance behind the relative safety of the Veil, and then tear through the enemy Pokemon like I tear through boxes of blue hair dye. This works even better when I've set up Stealth Rocks, which, you know, if you've never noticed from my past competitive battle streams, is kind of my favorite entry hazard. Hashtag Rocks win games. And I think the Pokemon who most benefited from this strategy was Salamence, one of my favorite dragon types, and a Pokemon with access to Moxie, which gives it an attack boost every time it nets a KO. So between that and the near guaranteed Dragon Dance boost it would be granted from the Aurora Veil, Salamence would become an unstoppable freight train of destruction after just a couple of turns. I've missed that. I think it's time to bring that back. But yeah, I would be so hype if I could finally bring my big blue dragon to the Galar region, just to show some of these other dragons what's what. Duraludon? More like Durala don't care. Flygon? Yeah, you're fly gone, bud. Dragapult? More like you outspeed me by 42 points and you have access to Infiltrator, which goes through Aurora Veil, and you probably just OHKO me with Dragon Pulse before I get the D-Dance off. Come on, man, just let me dream, alright? You know, despite my lack of extensive experience with Generation 4 games, and yes, I know I have an unfinished Let's Play of Platinum on my channel, but my Platinum cartridge just decided to stop working right in the middle of it. Very tragic. Anyway, Gliscor has been one of my favorite Pokemon for quite a while now. I really love its design, with it basically being like a Scorpio vampire bat, and it's a great evolution for Johto's Gligar. I think it'd be a good fit for the Crown Tundra specifically, considering it's basically just a large mountain, and that would give Gliscor plenty of chances to glide on the wind with its large wings like it's one to do. Not to mention, the very first place you can find its Prevo Gligar was in Pokemon Gold on Route 45, a mountainous path just south of Blackthorn City that is literally also known as Mountain Road. Plus, competitively, there's a few really fun sets you can use to annoy people with Gliscor, making use of a Toxic Orb and its hidden ability Poison Heal, which, as you might expect, heals you when you're poisoned instead of hurting you. It might even possibly serve as a good check to Toxtricity, who's been really popular and competitive, considering Gliscor's Stab Earthquake would be double super effective against Toxtricity, who would have its own stabs resisted or made outright useless. Not to mention, Gliscor is 20 points faster than Toxtricity is. And even if it doesn't serve as a good Toxtricity check, I kinda just want my creepy little scorpion bat pal back with me in Galar. I think that'd be cool. Okay, I might be alone on this one, but Just hear me out. Smeargle is kind of a weird Pokemon. It's a pure normal type, doesn't have any evolutions, and its only level up move that it ever gets, multiple times mind you, is Sketch, which allows it to permanently copy any move to its own moveset, so long as it's the last move that the opponent used, and there's a lot of really dumb meme strats you can cobble together with those kind of creative possibilities. This is the one that I was using for the last couple of generations, by the way. Drake in that moveset, people. This is art. Of course, because it can literally only ever learn Sketch and actually can't learn any moves by TM or HM, yet it technically can have all of those moves and more through sketching them, Smeargle somehow has the smallest and the largest move pool out of any Pokemon simultaneously. It's like it exists on this weird crossover point in the universe between knowledge and ignorance, always doomed to keep balance between all that it can know and all that it may never know. Yeah, I don't really know where I was going with that when I wrote it. And yet it's almost required to have a Focus Sash if you're gonna do anything with it competitively, because a cool Summer Breeze could knock it out, and it's not like it has the offensive power to beat anything even if it does live, so its best use is as a gimmicky support Pokemon to use status moves and then get the hell out. So yeah, not super competitively viable or anything, but hey, it's a fun meme. And aside from that, I kinda just like its design. It's just a goofy looking beagle with a natural substance secreting from its tail that lets it mark stuff to mark its territory. Almost makes me think it could have a Galarian form that's based on punk rockers, where its paintbrush tail functions more like a can of spray paint, and you can find it tagging its substance on brick walls behind police stations to make graffiti that says stuff like, "Kilroy was here," or "Nematodes are people too," or endlessly complaining about stuff that people like doesn't make you less boring. What? He said it, not me. Speaking of Pokemon that used for completely gimmicky competitive purposes. Alright, look, I know people are probably glad that Z moves are gone from the current games, but come on, you have to admit, when you managed to pop off Z conversion and get all those stat boosts, this thing was deadly. Of course, with Z moves gone, I'd have to come up with another broken method to boost it so it could sweep. Got it. Weak Armor Focus Sash Poltegeist gets hit once, Sash pops, Weak Armor activates to give it +2 speed, and on that turn it uses Shell Smash to go +2 in attack, and speed, then it baton passes all of that to Porygon Z, who also has a Focus Sash of its own to compensate for the lower defensive stats so it can live the switch in, and then it proceeds to kill everything in sight. Don't question me, this is foolproof. Honestly though, I've always really liked the design of the Porygon line, but something about Porygon Z specifically really strikes me. Maybe it's just how discombobulated and dysfunctional it really looks, which isn't really surprising, given that it was meant to be a more powerful version of Porygon 2 with more upgrades and functionality, but apparently Porygon 2's programming just wasn't vibing with whatever upgrades it was getting from some incompetent programmer. So, pretty safe to assume Porygon Z was developed by Bethesda.
All of this just works.
Am I being too obvious here with this pick for number 1? I don't know, probably, but hey, it's my list, so deal with it. I don't think I need to tell anyone who's been following my channel for more than 0 seconds that Absol is my favorite Pokemon. Aside from the fact that I've featured it as a team member in multiple hypothetical videos, one of the last videos I made before my old laptop crapped out on me was an entire video all about how much I like Absol and all the lore behind its design. And Absol would make sense to include, at least in the Crown Tundra expansion, because Absol is typically found in mysterious and sometimes desolate places, a lot of those being fairly close to where you can find legendary Pokemon, like how Absol and Unova could be found in the Giant Chasm, where you could also find Kyurem. Not to mention that Absol can often be found living in the mountains in isolation because of its misconception as a Doombringer, and the Crown Tundra is explicitly described on the Pokemon Sword and Shield website as Jagged Winter Mountains. And yeah, I know, without Mega Evolution, it kinda loses its viability as a glass cannon physical sweeper, and yeah, Dynamax doesn't really do a terrible lot to mitigate its low speed and papier-mâché defenses, so it's probably not super viable in the competitive meta without so much of what made it good in Gen 6 and 7, but you know what? I don't really care. Absol is my favorite Pokemon, full stop. That trumps all other reasons I would even want it back. That's regardless of the things it loses through changing game mechanics, because I've liked it as a Pokemon since Generation 3, and I've made it a point to catch one in every single Pokemon game I could, just because I like having one on my team. There's a lot of memories and nostalgia attached to Absol for me, and while I was able to accept that it wasn't in the base game for Sword and Shield, and I love all the new Pokemon that Galar has given us, there's nothing I'd want more than to have my favorite edgy white lion goat thing with me once again as I explore the Isle of Armor and the Crown Tundra. And you know, it's not like I'm gonna riot against the devs if Absol isn't in the expansion, but, you know, it'd be nice if it was. So yeah, those are the mods I hope come back the most when the DLC drops. What Pokemon from the past do you want to make a comeback in the Sword and Shield expansion pass? Let me know in the comments section, and I'll see you in the next video, friendos. I promise I'll do my best not to take another year to make something else on this channel.